this is a perfect segue into the other hot political story from this week, which is the leak of the Young Republican group chat. And in one of the least surprising developments for anyone who's been paying attention to the news, surprise, surprise, they're all Nazis. They are. I mean, highlights from the chat include statements such as "I love Adolf Hitler" and quote "rape is epic." And obviously, like this is a lot of these like a lot of Republicans they work for are distancing themselves from this. But like, I do have to call out JD Vance's comments on this, which he said. He's like, this is pearl clutching over when a bunch of young kids, young boys who just said some stupid things in a group chat. And it's just like young boys, like the Young Republicans Club is for people who are 18 to 40.
Yeah.
And like a couple of the people writing in this group chat are like a couple years younger than JD Vance. And, like, once again, it doesn't, it's no big win to point out hypocrisy here, but like they're currently deporting people who like posted "fuck Charlie Kirk." They're like deporting them from this country. And
they stripped green cards from people for like writing articles that were like, yeah, I think there should be a ceasefire.
Yeah, put you back on an airplane when you're flying here to go on vacation because they don't like your fucking tweets. And yet at the same time, like this 34-year-old sitting state senator in Vermont can be like, rape is epic, though. Am I right, you guys? Just fucking bombing in the group chat with your like incredible jokes.
And like a lot of the people like who are sort of rushing to defend their fellow creeps is that they're like, this is just the way guys talk among each other. And like, and what annoys me so much about this is like you've heard so much from these like young conservatives over the last year, 4 or 5, 10 years or whatever. They're like, you can't just call anyone you disagree with a Nazi. We're so sick of being called Nazis. But like everything in private group chat among people who work in politics or the Republican Party are like literally, I am a Nazi who loves Adolf Hitler and wants to gas the subhuman degenerates who I disagree with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not for nothing. I am like, usually like categorically against like, firing people for like shit that they say in like a group chat or something, because there is like a broad range of what, any given person finds offensive. And there's a reason that like, in a lot of instances, these are like private chats between friends, right? That being said, that applies to situations where it's like the people in question aren't in the process of like separating families and like throwing children into like concentration camps run by rapists.
Yeah.
They also are like aspiring to, and in many cases serving in actual high roles in a political party that is facilitating the program that Felix just said. It's not the sort of thing where you're just like some fucking shitheads blowing off steam in a group chat with other guys that work at the car dealership with them. Like, these are people that want to do the job that Stephen Miller is doing right now.
Right. There's an exception for like certain jobs, right? Like if someone's like a cop or a fucking doctor, yeah, it warrants more scrutiny, what they might say in private. Also, just an obvious given, it's also an IQ test, right? Yeah. If you work in politics, you generally do not try not to put things in writing that you would like not say in front of like the press, right? If you are in a group chat being like, I'm the based Holocaust rapist, you're probably fucking stupid. But this is one of those exceptions where like you just even if this was totally like fucking disconnected from their actual stated opinions, you can't give as much of a benefit of the doubt as if like it was someone working at fucking Pep Boys.
And and obviously like a lot of this is couched and like sort of offered in the spirit of, dark, edgy humor where you're sort of being egged on by your friends and comrades to say like, wild, edgy things or whatever.
You're riffing with the boys. All the other guys that like work for the New York Young Republican Party, but not the Young Republicans of New York. Sometimes you got to get in there and riff with them.
But like as someone says in the Politico article, it's like, if you say it once or twice, it's a joke. But if you say it like 800 times and are also like flacking for a political program that is literally the expression of those jokes, it's not really, you can't really hide behind the idea that like I don't really love Hitler. I just like saying I love Hitler over and over again. Just a few of the choice nuggets from this is, and like I love that like these comments about gassing people are in relation to like a young Republican college election. And they're like, this one of them says, "I'm going to create some of the greatest psychological torture methods known to man. We only want true believers."
And then I'm going to apply them at Boston College.
And then when it says, "Can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic." Joe Malengo, who previously identified himself as general counsel for the New York State Young Republicans, wrote back. That's the only comment that confuses me, because I think like actually chamber showers do in fact fit the Hitler aesthetic.
I would argue that it defines the Hitler aesthetic. But yes, but maybe you can't expect Joe Maligno to know everything about World War II. All he probably learned was that Hitler was based.
I've seen like the pictures of the people in this chat,
bro. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Really
so like
good.
the guy who said that gas chambers like don't fit the Hitler aesthetic, he looks like a soy jack. But then everyone else is like, I mean, they look like every other Republican, like young Republican I've seen get in trouble since like 2017, where it's like, I think they have like a DEI program in the Republican Party, but it's if you're like
and fatsos.
Yeah.
No, it's the opposite. If you're like a vaguely like normal looking white, they put you like front and center.
Yeah, like Madison Cawthorn got to be in Congress because he has the jawline. All the rest of these guys, Soy Jack is exactly right.
Every Republican staffer, it's like, you know, the American Tapestry. A 4'11" Latino who's 700 pounds and his work email is like childrapist@kidnapper.net. The soy jack, of course. It's just, you know, the generation that the iPad raised, basically.
Well, yeah, Felix, to that point, just a few examples of like iPad raised soy Nazis. It says here, they're talking about running a candidate for a national election, but they would like, if they go to Hitler, they're afraid that they'll lose the Kansas young Republicans for some reason. And then it says here, mused about how Moisman, the chair of the Arizona Young Republicans, mused about how the group could win support for their preferred candidate by linking an opponent to white supremacist group. But Moisman then realized the plan could backfire. Kansas young Republicans could end up being attracted to that opponent. Oh, okay, I got that backwards. But then he says, "Can we get them to start releasing Nazi edits with her? Like pro-Nazi and fascism propaganda," he asked the group. "Oh my God, OMG, I love this plan," Rachel Hope, the Arizona Young Republican events chair, responded. Listen to this. Weeks later, someone in the chat staying in a hotel asked its members to guess what room we're in. 1488, Dwyer responds.
That is
white supremacist podcast. Yeah,
if you're from the internet,
I don't need to explain it.
Do you have stairs in your house? It's a hip-hop operating system.
It is kind of, I mean, ordinarily, like, I try to avoid the, like, you know, "and this surprises you" response to stuff like this, because it's annoying and also, like, but I was thinking about it in reading the story about how much weirder it would be, like, how much more surprising it would be if the group chat of young Republican groups were leaked and it's all about like unleashing the job creating power of small business.
yeah.
Or like that we need to lower the capital gains tax.
Yeah.
You know,
Like it's hurting our working
They're
families.
the real
No one's
racist.
looking out for the farmers. Like they're not, this is not how these guys are operating.
No, instead you get comments like this. It says, "My people built the train tracks with the Chinese," Walker says at one point, referring to his Italian ancestors. "Let his people go," Malingo responds. "Keep the chinks, though." In another instance, Moisman tells the group, "The Spanish came to America and had sex with every single woman." "Sex is gay," Dwyer writes. "Sex? It was rape," Moisman says. "Epic," Walker replies.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
I wish we had an air horn soundboard right now. This is...
But you know,
one riff.
Yeah, can you add in the clip of Robert De Niro laughing at the Ernest movie from Cape Fear after that?
Correction, David, it was the film Problem Child.
Problem Child, sorry, my bad. It was Ernest in the Simpsons version of it. This is very embarrassing. Spectre regrets the error.
But you know, like I think about the comment, "Sex is gay, rape is epic." In light of like, you know, the defenses of this, that like, this is just how bros talk to each other in the group chat, and they need a safe space to call each other retards and fags. And like, I get that. I get that, like, among men, when they think no one is listening, like, yeah, you'll say some offensive things. You may even say a slur. You may call your friend a homo or whatever, or retard or whatever. But saying, quote, sex is gay. No one in the fantasy football group chat is dropping gems like that. That's only in the young Republicans group chat.
That is young Republican locker room talk. Which is
Just be like, an adult woman's pussy? Ugh, vomit.
Yeah. Like, it's like the scene from 40-Year-Old Virgin where they're all Steve Carell describing breasts and sort of like, yeah, man, big bags of sand. That's right, homie. I could love to get my hand on those, but then I'd wash my hand because I hate it.
You know, when you're just like guy stuff, riffing with the guys, when you go on to write a paragraph about how the movie Hard Candy should be banned for being hate speech.
Felix, you bring that up, but like, and like a lot of this context of the article is like, sort of how, like, now in the second Trump Reich, like, they keep hoping for this, like, sort of, I don't know, like, tipping point at which, like, you can say openly, I love Adolf Hitler and gassing Jews in the Holocaust, or that rape is epic, and that you won't lose your job for it. I mean, like, this is like, obviously, like, a lot of the Republicans they've worked for are distancing themselves from this because it's very embarrassing, because, look, woke ain't going away. But, like, Felix, your comment, like, I'm really struck by, like, how quickly, like, they've sort of felt juiced and energized to say things like, 2 or 3 years ago, it was like, all gay people are groomers, kill your local pedophile. And, like, today, now that Trump is president, I feel like a lot of these guys have just get on to, like, we're bored with that. Now that line is, yeah, I have sex with children, triggered lib.
Yeah. Also, the idea of that response being, like, one of the, like, people from, X that I saw responding to this was that, like, a couple of the organizations, as Will said, were like, yeah, this doesn't represent, whatever, the Republican Party of the state of Vermont, which, like, it does, but I still kind of appreciate them saying it. And there were people replying being like, Trump won. You don't have to do that anymore. Like, you don't have to distance yourself from this. You're allowed to admit that you are also a pedophile or whatever. And it's like, I think maybe you're, like, overestimating what percentage of your base is actually into this shit. Like, I would love to believe that they are anyway.
I think, like, that is kind of the generational divide, right? I think if you leaked, like, Bill Mitchell's group chats, right?
Yeah.
It would be stuff like, they're the real racists.
Yeah.
MLK was a Republican. Like, stuff like that. Like, and shit like that still.
Yeah, like, also those old guys are, like, actually, like, kind of red-blooded, horny American shitheads.
Yeah, like the cat turd group DMs.
Yeah,
it'd just be like
cat turd is doing the, like, do you remember, like, the Sheriff John Bunnell posts where he'd be like, I need to see you now, so sexy, like, just replying to women on Twitter openly.
I was rooting for him.
Yeah,
I wanted him to get some slime.
I think that's, like, the mindset that these guys all have. Like, Bill Mitchell for sure was trying to be like, the most eligible bachelor on the, like, 55 and over conservative influencer
the golden
scene.
bachelor. Yeah.
But yeah, these guys are,
Bill
like,
Mitchell,
they can't do it. They can't be normal enough to, like, just have sex with other people that have the same awful opinions as them.
Like the cat turd group DMs, it would be like the spiciest thing. He'd be like, ooh, Salma Hayek, that's one spicy tamale. And then it's like, thud. Hold on, what was that sound? I think I ran over something. Give me a second, guys.
Yeah, it's like my pronouns are double bacon cheeseburger. That's it. And they're like, I would be ruined if this got out. Yep.
And meanwhile, every conservative under the age of 40, like, their group DMs are like, are like, I love Adolf Hitler, and raping children is what I love to do even more than being a Nazi.
Yeah,
even more fun than getting your rocks off with a girl.
I love to collect slaves for the afterlife. And also, I love slavery in this life as well.
That had 15 different versions of the Zodiac in it, just riffing with each other nonstop. That's what the energy is.
Yeah, it is the difference between, like, I support LGBT. Let's go, Brandon. and like, I am a lifelong member of the Order of Nine Angles.
Yeah, I do feel like it's hard to say that, the Trump administration is failing at doing any of the stuff that it wants to do. But you can see from this chat, and then also I think from the sort of, like, the older versions, you're like J.D. Vance's and Kash Patel's that are, like, the slightly more credentialed 10 years older versions of these guys who are a little bit less web damaged. Like, these are just not people that could have a real job. Like, you can have some sort of job in like young Republican politics because this is basically is like fucking messaging your friends and like being like, I would call him a pedophile, but I worry that it would help him with our base. Like, that's what they do.
No, it's like, Dave, I was thinking about that. Like, Adam Johnson had a post this week that I thought was very apropos. It's like, think about all these ICE raids and like roundups of immigrants and just like, pulling people off of like job sites or courtrooms or doctor's appointments. Like, really, like, the way to like describe this current moment and what ICE is doing is like, people who are otherwise unemployable, basically disappearing and arresting for no reason people who actually have jobs.
Yeah.
And like,
and the ostensibly like populist justification for it, which you don't hear as much anymore because they're just having too much fun or whatever, was the idea that like those jobs should be white American men working those roofing jobs. And it's like, at this point,
any of the people in this chat are capable of using a nail gun on anything other than a prostitute, I would love to see that.
And the idea too of like yes, that is like basically the jobs that they're sort of creating are like what like sort of miscellaneous, not really like law enforcement jobs, but you do get to carry a gun and wear like a tactical vest. And like, there's no job in the United States that has less accountability than like a fucking ICE guy snatching people out of courtrooms at this point. Like, how could you get fired?
Yeah, like, what could you do on camera that would call? I don't know, probably like show kindness or mercy.
Yeah.
That's
get
probably
caught coming out of like a showing of one battle after another or whatever. Like,
like backing down when someone shows you their passport.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Like, calling somebody who's like darker complected than you, sir, in an engagement, like that is actually disqualified.
I thought of that as well. Did you see the thing this week about how, true to his word, Hegseth has ordered back some of the National Guard soldiers National Guard troops that he sent to Chicago because they're too fat?
Yeah.
Because we also saw that photo of them piling out of a truck.
Yeah.
That wasn't the reason, actually. They were people close to Hegseth who were familiar with the area, familiar with Chicago, said that it would feel like gloating if they sent these guys who were like very svelte by Chicago standards.
Yeah, they have to be able to like blend in with the populace. I like the idea of that being like the special, like the Texas National Guard's like Portillo's strike team. Like guys like, training in Italian beef tactics like one weekend a month. They get together, just get gravy on their shirt.
Pequod is green light.
Yeah, it reminded me of Delta guys like growing beards. Like they looked exactly like Chicagoans. If they want to like defect,
Yeah, the Hegseth wants them all to look like the fucking yes guy from the meme. Like, it's like, that's basically like the most important thing to him.
Well, like, I mean, and going back to the fucking young Republicans and the fucking profiles of these, like I said, pinheads and fatties who think they're the master race, like, that's why the yes meme is that's why they love it so much, because it's like, it's psychological torture for them. And like, they have a masochistic need to like, be like, this is me. But it's just like, dude, you know what you look like. You could like, you are a different galaxy from the like the Aryan blonde propaganda poster, right? Like you look like you're in the regime that you're seeking to create. You would be Action T Ford years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is sort of another one of the like big conflicts. I've been like trying to write about it this week, and I think I might just bag the blog. Like it does feel like I'm not adding any value there, but the extent to which all of this is very obviously content creation in lieu of any actual governance, that like they're trying to sort of like manufacture videos, not even necessarily, I think, to recruit people to join, whatever the fucking Portillo's brigade of the National Guard or the ICE or whatever, but just like to amuse themselves and each other. That like the sort of like Sicario type videos that they cut together of them like tossing that apartment building in South Chicago and like zip tying all these grandmas outside and stuff. Like that's just, it's not something that's going to like win hearts and minds. I think even the most cynical of these operators know that. It's just something that they like want to watch on their phones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's also like the main thing that everyone does in politics now. Probably, since the financialization of the world economy, which is to look busy. This is now the Republican equivalent to, when a Democratic municipal government in a blue state like bans vapes in 2020, for example. It used to be for Republicans that they would they would give like a presidential medal of freedom to like a football coach, and now it's this.
Yeah. Well, and also another element of like our current politics that you see reflected on both sides is that like every sitting politician is an ancient mummy. They are the crypt keeper, but they are like cosseted by a staff of like politically minded younger people that often through social media will become their mouthpiece. And that's how you get like really embarrassing shit from Democrats who are like, Katie Porter is brat, and then like they're making references to like Taylor Swift and like shit that young people are into. But on the Republican side, they're like editing together. They're like, I really like this video we put out. But could we just have 10% more references to Roman towel boy pedophilia?
Yeah,
that's what we're really into.
Yeah, we need like enough esoteric Nazi symbology that we won't piss off any of like Senator Tom Coburn's like potential voters. But
that is something I identified when I did. I forget which podcast it was, but it was late last year after Seeking a Friend came out, and I am kind of astounded by like how much effort has gone into, for people who, in the grand scheme of things, these are not real jobs, but real jobs in politics, right? Who are, for all intents and purposes, like trying to impress like Nick Fuentes. Like Fuentes is famously like, he didn't even like split from the Trump Vance ticket. He preemptively just declared it like a failure, and he's been in opposition to them, and his big line has been like attacking them from the right and like saying this is like Peter Thiel bullshit, it's the same as Trump won, et cetera, and it feels like all these videos are them trying to like preempt that criticism and like to win him back over and go, see, look, we're doing things.
That's also, it's incredible. I feel like that's been like one of the stories of the last few years in general, where the right is concerned, is how much like people with real power in the world, how much Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, how much the opinion of this like virginal Nazi live stream guy matters to them, like how much they're willing to risk to try to seem based to like fucked up teenage kids.
I mean, it reminds me of when we went to that Benny Johnson hunk party at CFAX. Yes. And like the thing that I will always remember about it, like the thing that I really like stuck out in my mind was how many guys who are probably like the bosses of the shitheads in this article now, like very meekly like went up to me and were like, you probably hate me, but I think you're so funny. And it was like, it's a universal thing in politics that at the end of the day, all these people are so craven in their desire for approval from some cultural figure of any type. And the rest is just all bluster.
Also, kind of poignantly, I think they also all want to be funny and really respect that. And like Trump actually is, for better or worse, it's like a value neutral quality to be funny. Like there's plenty of comedians that are fucking sociopaths and bad people too, but
most of them actually.
But I think that's like a lot of what's in this chat too, is that like these people fucked their lives up because they were trying to like riff in a funny way about all the disgusting things that they want to do to other people. But it's like if they had, it's hard to joke about this sort of thing, and it's also like harder to joke about when you actually mean it. But it doesn't surprise me that any of those guys would like suck up to you, Felix. You like actually fucking made something. You went from like 0 to 1 with the podcast, whereas they've been just like riding the tailwinds of billionaire reactionaries their entire fucking lives. And that's like what their business is.
But I even think that's a universal thing with political staffers. I think this applies to Democratic ones too. And that is the reason why you're seeing this like collapse in communication style. Why like, did you see Virginia Fox, that like 90-year-old congresswoman who like she just like constantly just a puddle of like room temperature urine at her feet at all times. Just one of those old people who has long given up on the concept of like shitting and pissing in the bathroom. She posted the other day something that was like, she was replying to like some reporter or some shit. She was like, she was saying this. To enjoy this ratio.
Yeah, oh yeah,
It's
you
like,
earned
wait,
it.
what?
Yeah.
Wait, you were one of the accusers of Emmett Till.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
You were
she looks-
alive back then.
She looks like the chicken lady from Kids in the Hall. Like she looks like the mother or grandmother of the chicken lady from Kids in the Hall.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's the same thing that like Democratic staffers do with like, you know, when they're running comps for like Jim Clyburn, who's also just as fucking old and confused. They want so badly to be seen as like funny, and for like other shitheads in their line of work to go like, oh, you know, the tweets that you write for your fucking guy, those are the funniest ones. We all say that you could have been a comedian or a fucking writer if you weren't in this. It is a complete collapse in style and output from people who are too uncharismatic to have even made it in the least charisma demanding media environment of all time. This one.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of Representative Virginia Fox and her comments about enjoy the ratio, Felix, I know you're a collector of rare groypers. Did you see this in the post that someone found the other day from Old Woman Groper?
Old Woman Groper here.
Love this. Yeah.
Old Woman. The post was, and the display name was Old Woman Groper, and the comment was Old Woman Groper here. Who is Gavin Wax? And by the way, the interesting thing about the leak of these the Nazi chat group is that it's Gavin Wax, the head of the New York State Young Republicans, or the New York State Republicans who are young. One of these like groups are like, who's currently working in the Trump administration, by the way. All of this was started over some personal beef that he has with another one of these young Nazis. And it's just like, I don't even know, it's not like an ideological dispute. It's just a personal one. And he leaked all these chats where they're talking about, you know, raping and gassing children.
Yeah, that's what's been kind of like bracing to see like the way that, whatever, with all due respect to the places that like issued press releases saying that this does not reflect the values of the Vlad Dracul Institute or whatever the fuck employs these guys. Like, the rest of it is
the Impalement Foundation.
The Impalement Foundation, the Impalement Institute. They've done some really interesting work. I don't agree with them on every issue. But like the rest of it is just like these fucking freaks on Twitter calling each other Jews. Like being like putting like that's the level of discourse about it. By the way, like the perfidious ADL, Gavin Wax.
They started calling Gavin Wax a Jew. And I did love that Jonathan Greenblatt of the ADL.
Gavin.
Yeah.
Like, can we be serious for a second?
Like, this is the Jew that leaks leaked all our texts. His name is Gavin Wax.
Yep.
Well, I know he may be Jewish. I don't fucking know.
I mean, he might be. Although I do think Felix's point about the fact that, I mean, there's not always that many things to feel great about America about now at this moment. But I do feel like the fact that there's Jews named Gavin in the public space is kind of what we made it, you know. Like it's
I forget.
One
of the other really funny things from the group chat that were leaked, that they were making fun of one of the guys in the chat for quote dating an obese Indian woman, and his reply was, "She wasn't Indian, she just didn't bathe." Gotta love him. Yeah, gotta love him.
Stuff.
But speaking of,
y'all like to laugh.